Replit now. All right, so I'm probably not going to do a whole lot with this. I don't know. Maybe I will actually. This has become a very popular solution. I have never been here. I've just heard smart people that I respect and follow are talking about what this thing can do. I need to know that I'm not bragging about being able to do things in hours that they can already do in minutes with no developer. So let's see what this is all about. Let's sign up. Let me use GitHub. Idea to app. All right, here's Replit. Let's edit this. We're just going to say personal use. I'm going to totally end up calling it replicant. In fact, I think I'm going to purposely call it replicant. I'm really curious now. Yeah, let's just start out with the free version. All right, let's start creating. Oh, verify email. We're in. What do you want to make? What do I want to make? See, this is another thing. It's going to become more and more important. Agency is becoming really important. Not just agents, like agentic AI, but like personal agency. I'm going to really need to keep a list handy of all the ideas that I have because I'm going to be able to get them out so fast. I should keep it really simple. But I'm tempted to come up with some banal, like super simple. Oh, you know what? I got an idea. Let's ask Grok to tell us what to tell Replit. Yeah. Okay. Because I do want to keep this super simple. If I need to, I'll throw them some money, get some more tokens, and actually build real things that I want to build. But I'm afraid that my ideas are going to, there's going to be too much, and maybe this is my own hubris, and I'm about to be slapped in the face with a huge wake-up call for like how novel and interesting my ideas are not. Just to be sure, so that I can keep things simple and just get like a basic understanding. I'm gonna tell Grok. I'm gonna say, okay. I'm just gonna type it and then I'll read it out. I'm trying to understand the capabilities of Replit. The purpose of this effort is to find out what founders are able to do with vibe coding solutions like this, so that I can keep my profile as a developer updated and relevant. For example, I don't want to brag about how I can do something in an hour that they can already do in minutes for a few dollars worth of tokens. I'm on the start prompt right now. Help me describe a simple example of an app that a founder might be looking to hire a developer for. For the sake of gaining an understanding of how the process works, I want this idea to be something common and useful, but relatively simple. I'm going to give it a picture just to make sure. There's a picture. All right. What say you, Grok? What should we tell this fool? Here's what we're going to tell it. Okay. So now we're going to tell Replit. Create a simple to-do list web app where users can add tasks, mark them as complete, and delete them. The app should have a clean interface with a text input to add tasks, a list to display tasks, and buttons to mark tasks as done or delete them. Store the tasks locally in the browser using JavaScript. That's too simple. You're on the right track, but I think it should be actually viable. Storing tasks in the browser is not viable. So let's add some sort of database so that tasks can be persisted centrally and accessed on multiple devices and by multiple users. Also, we need to add some kind of auth for security. That may not scale, but like it's at least viable. Yeah, so if there's anything else you can think of that I'm missing in order to make this viable, feel free to weigh in. Remember, this doesn't need to scale yet, but it does need to be viable. Now we're cooking. Okay, what say you, Replit? Start building. This is very simple. Any more simple than this, and it's just not viable, really. All right, what are we thinking? I'll help you plan a to-do list web application for multi-user support based on your description. I'll analyze the requirements and propose a structured MVP plan. Okay. I love the way it's considering options, stopping to think. It's not just spitting crap out. You can tell that there's a lot of reasoning going on. Task tracker, modern web app, integrations, basic username, password auth. Okay, so, and then it's already checking off what it's done. Initial version, a full stack to-do list application with user auth, task management, and a clean modern interface. Okay, so we've planned. Let's just approve and get started. So you got your task approval. And this is all free. So, like, you got to keep in mind, a developer would have maybe given you the plan for approval without charging you. But from here on out, you're on the clock with a developer who's either sucks and is doing more harm than good, or they're charging you like at least double digits per hour, probably close to 100, maybe even triple digits. Here we are. It is generating a front end. Even a front end developer is going to be $20 to $40 an hour. Do we get access to the code? And then we can just hit deploy and it deploy. That's crazy. So it started building, reviewing your message, considering okay, so it's just telling you that it's working. Determining next steps. Installing packages. So it's actually this isn't just like a canned, like Slack will say stuff weird, like firing up warp drive engine or something. No, it's actually like creating a TypeScript file. Yeah, so it's it's already decided on all the dependencies it's needed. It's run like the npm dependencies, and now it's actually writing TypeScript files. It's already built the front end. So I imagine, like, as it's writing these files, it's probably building tests so that it can test its own features. Okay, here's why it's so important to pay attention and study Replit right now. Because, for one, you need to know what people don't need you in order to build. Okay, so you need to know what it's capable of. Probably the thing to do is always try Replit first. Even if you have the capabilities as a developer, if it can be done with Replit, you're wasting your time. You're using a slide rule when you've got a calculator. You're using a shovel when you've got access to an excavator, right? And then once you hit bottlenecks, it's also powerful. Chances are this is actually going to not only be successful for this most simple idea, but as we add complexity, it's going to continue to have success. And then, like, as people use it more and more, it's going to get better, and it's going to get good at harder and harder scenarios. So, like, what you need to do is get comfortable with using tools like this, that where you just don't even code anything, you just vibe code. Like, you need to know when to vibe code, and you need to know when to flip over to AI assisted development. And really, the key, I think, here, okay, it claims to be done. We could have been looking at these steps all along. I didn't realize they expanded. Okay, so installed dependencies. Oh, there's our code. We do have access to the code. I wonder if I can connect this to a GitHub repo and have it commit. So this is running. I bet I can use it right now. I've built a full stack to-do application with user authentication and task management. The application should allow you to do all the things. Could you please try using the application and let me know if these features are working correctly? And we're in. Do stuff and things. Your task has been added. This is part of the application. Oh, we can see the output here because this is just an npm run thing. So I want to know about this backend. Where's this backend hosted? I'm just going to say this looks great. Oh, we just hit the deploy button. See, I could look at all these files. Okay, let's deploy. Publish a live, stable public version of your app, unaffected by the changes you make in the workspace. Oh, you have to upgrade to deploy? I thought we got 3 for free. I really need to know. Okay, Replit core. Okay, done. Okay, so now we set up our deployment. Yeah, I never hit deploy. So let's hit deploy. And here we go. We're running a build. And it handles all the tooling for you, so you don't need to learn tooling. It shows you all the code, but like I didn't have to write any of that code. I wrote no code, no debugging, no tooling. This was never on my development machine. This is all in the cloud, all in a web browser. Yeah, it looks like it's building some kind of like probably Docker. You need to know what this is capable of, and then also you need to know when to toggle between vibe coding and AI assisted development. Here's my app. My app is ready. Here it is. How long have I been on this? Okay, 45 minutes. And this is like stopping to talk about stuff. See, and then we would go back in and vibe code some more graceful. Like, I don't want this object here. Anyways, no, do things and stuff. I mean, this is as nice as you could ask for. Log out, log in. Great. Okay. All right, we're live. So going back to what I was saying, you need to be able to make as much rapid progress as you can. Toggle is the word. You need to be able to toggle between AI assisted and vibe code. This way you're not doing things harder than they have to be, and you're not limiting. It's important to point out the trade-offs, okay? So being in AI-assisted mode narrows the field of humans who are able to make forward progress. It unlocks, for people who can do more advanced things with code, it unlocks their ability to do more difficult, challenging, nuanced, complex things. When you toggle back to vibe code, in vibe code mode, yeah, you're limited with the amount of things that you're able to do, the amount of complexity that you're able to handle, some of the hard problems you're not able to solve, but the number of people who can get tasks done. So when you look at the board and you say, okay, there's this handful of lower severity complex tasks. Most of the backlog is filled with these things that anyone should be able to vibe code their way through. Well, then you would say, well, this week we're in vibe code mode, or today we're in vibe code mode. And then so a greater number of people can grab those tasks and execute them and get them done. And then when you get down to okay, all that's left is the harder stuff, well, then you flip it over into AI assist mode. Now, what does that look like? What is the lock-in for Replit? What does install the Replit? Yeah, this unlocks the ability to do these tasks on your phone. Let's do that. Okay, I'm downloading and opening the Replit app. Okay, where's my apps? We got Task Tracker. So I've got this agent, right? Yeah. Okay. So I've got all these controls on the app on my phone. I could just walk around developing and just deploying it on my phone. This is actually outstanding. So the next thing that I want to do is probably see what all do I want to know? I want to know, all right, I think this is enough for now. Some things I want to know, I guess, is what does it look like? What is the lock-in here? What does it look like to toggle between this and AI assisted? What all can it do? I would like to know, I want to know, as I increase the at what point do I need to just say, this is holding me back and I need to be able to go hack on this? And how hard is it to go back and forth? By using this, do you kind of get locked into using it? If I outgrew Replit, whether it's because they're slowing down or I'm speeding up, what does it look like to migrate this storage bucket to something like AWS? What does it look like to migrate this database into something like Aurora? What does it look like if I'm bottlenecking on interfaces with these companies that I'm paying for tokens from Claude or Gemini or GPT or whatever, and I have the resources to actually host my own models on my own GPUs? What does that look like? But yeah, this is cool stuff. This is super cool. Definitely going to start doing more with this, actually. There's no reason not to. I think everyone should kind of do this, even if you have the capability, probably especially if you have the capability of doing this yourself, because there's a trap that you could fall into where you could be like, I can code that. I don't need AI to do that for me. Well, yeah, I don't need heavy machinery to dig a hole for me either, but does that mean that I'm just going to go push a shovel? Because you need to know, as a developer, you need to know where you're becoming obsolete. As soon as you can do something in Replit, do we need to just have certain projects that are vibe code based and certain projects that are AI assisted, and that's just an important choice to make? It's like a fork in the road and there is no practical toggling between the two. It's hard to know. It's really hard to know. These are questions that need to haunt us every day. Anyways, okay, I'm going to stop there.